Hey, peace and blessings. It's your brother Sorry back with another one. Just as always, I always gotta give thanks. Appreciate thanks to the peace to the the true and living. If you're watching this video, you the true and living. You know what I'm saying? Watching this video or whatever case may be. Glad y'all could tune in. Appreciate all the support. Everybody who been kind of following the videos, kind of like checking me out or whatever. Really appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the birthday wishes. You know what I'm saying? I just had to drop one uh today. You know what I'm saying? For any manner of festivity begin. You feel me? But yeah, y'all probably see the title of the video. Okay, and like I said, I don't. This ain't really a major staple in my channel, man. The whole relationship thing. However, when we talk about the experiential, right? The experiential deals heavily with relationships and the experiential. A lot of information from the experiential, true master, all that can be applied to relationships between people. How we talk about having balanced relationships, and if a relationship is not balanced, then it will collapse and everything like that. Um, yeah, that ties into our relationships with ourselves, our relationship with other people. So we go a lot into relationship with the experiential and everything like that. But this one specifically, um, the topic of this one is you know, why women often choose the wrong guy. And I know it's a lot of, I know it's a lot of red pill content out there and stuff like that. That kind of, that kind of go in on the sisters or whatever case may be. Um, I'm gonna just come from this perspective like this today. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come from a perspective if let's say if I had a female relative that I loved, you see what I'm saying? Um a person that I'm not gonna see that often or whatever case may be. But I just wanted to give them some advice. Let's say they ask me about you know, the question why women often choose the wrong guy. Okay, so what I'm saying, we're gonna kick it like that today. You see what I'm saying? All right, y'all like what y'all been hearing? Like and subscribe. We get into this. All right, so with this one, uh, it's coming from the perspective if I had to give advice to a female family member about, let's say, like relationship or whatever case may be, because you know, y'all a community of black people, y'all are a community of the human family, period, however it may go. So y'all kind of like an extended level of family in a way, to an extent. So we all live in the same society, in the same community. If something is said that helps you all in your individual life or whatever, regardless of what your ethnic background is, regardless of where you're from or whatever case may be, you making my world better. You see what I'm saying? So have at it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. Okay, so the short answer of the question would be that the mainstream Western narrative, the narrative that's pushed in Western society, right, of um, what women want in a guy, the common thing. I know all y'all ladies don't want it, don't gonna say, hey, this ain't me or whatever case may be, but just for the sake of the most well marketed criteria for a man, right? So let's say the answer would be the mainstream narrative would be a dude who makes six figures, right? Um, 6 foot tall or better. You see what I'm saying? And a six pack. So hey man, this is what it all entails. This is the criteria. So I'm just y'all laid it out for me to say it, so I'm just saying it. Okay, so an individual who has that, okay, or normally the man will be equated with some kind of stuff or something tangible, like he got a nice car, he gotta have six figures, he gotta have a nice house and everything like that, or whatever case may be. And some anonymous amount of money, usually over six figures, some kind of body type. You see what I'm saying? Like reminiscent of Conan the Barbarian or something. Some kind of particular job, etc., or whatever case may be. Um, the man being basically the transmitting utility or pass through for whatever physical stuff. Um, People, and it's often called in the popular notion. You see what I'm saying? In the well marketed notion, um, chasing the bag, right? So that's what's marketed out there for women. Now it's interesting. I want to cross reference like two different mindsets in this conversation, or whatever case may be. It's like what I would consider, let's say, like a survivalist mindset, and then a reciprocity mindset. Now, I mean, no shade on, no shade on this individual, or whatever, but the best example I can really give, or the best recent example that I can really give, if you watch that show with Kendra G and what's the older woman, I don't want to miss her name, but she's an older, her name starts with a T. I don't want to say it wrong, but yeah, if you go into that show where on Valentine's Day, where they're talking about what they're basically dating etiquette and everything like that, and you can clearly see a difference because um one is talking about her list of demands or what she wants from a guy and how he has to pay for a weave and all that, and then one is talking about like um I forget the word that she used for it, micro affections or something like that, little small little things that you can do for your partner to show them that you care about them. So that's an aspect of reciprocity. So those are two different dating models. Is more um one is more successful in transactional situations. If you're dealing with transactional situations, then of course, like if I'm a person who's in sales or whatever case may be, I'm a wanna market myself to the demographic that makes the most money, or I can convert the most sales, or that's best for that type of type of idea or whatever case may be. So if you trying to do a lot of conversions or whatever, and it's a transactional thing and it's a financial thing or whatever case may be, then that would be your best thing. You want to be a hunter. That's the hunter mindset or whatever case may be. You did. If that's what you're trying to do. You see what I'm saying? I'm not telling nobody how to be. I'm just like, just putting this right here, and what I'm saying, we just deal with that. Okay, so the reciprocity mindset is more that's more leaning toward a lasting type of partnership or something like that. The reciprocity mindset. Remember how if you go back to previous videos that we did, it was more of a scientific breakdown for it, but we were talking about pressure in the system. We broke it down scientifically, how pressure in the system. So when I be talking about the balanced and unbalanced relationships, and how if you have an unbalanced relationship, it's gonna collapse or it'll cause unfavorable situations, whether it be with your relationship with yourself or your relationship with the other people and all this stuff like that. We're going into all that rigmarole and everything like that. Yeah, how she talking about micro affections and all this stuff like that or whatever case may be. Yeah, because in that orientation, it's not necessarily about what you can get. It's more so about the happiness of your partner. It's a cycle where you're just focused on making your partner happy and everything like that. And it's just a cycle, and it's a recurring cycle. They make you happy, and it's a reciprocity where you make them happy, and it's a back and forth thing. And they may get mad at each other or whatever case may be, but in that type of setup, the good outweighs the bad. So that's what you're looking at when you look at those two women on that particular show. Um, and correction. The show was Tamron Hall. The lady's name is Tamron Hall. Tamron Hall and Kendra G. The lady that I was talking about, if you examine her mindset as far as relationships or whatever case may be, she's operating off the model of reciprocity. Like when Kendra was talking about the lady paying for, excuse me, the man paying for her weave and stuff like that. If you notice, the Tamron Hall lady, she was talking about, you know, he's not here to pay for your weave, or you don't want a broke man, but a man don't want a broke woman either. You notice how she would always like put herself in her partner's shoes. So not only is she thinking from the perspective of what she likes or how it works out for her, but she's also putting herself in her partner's um position or whatever. She's seeing it from her partner's perspective. So she's operating off a model of reciprocity, as opposed to the other lady on the show, Kendra, that was operating off of the hunter type um, mentality or whatever case may be. Again, every energy, you feel me? It's a time and a place for it, but that has a whole nother different, you know what I'm saying, place for that. You know what I'm saying? So, but moving right along, right? So the hunter mentality, this is fine in a transactional sense. However, this is more of a hunter survivalist orientation. Most of the things mentioned above, right? Back to getting to the punchline. Most of the things that are mentioned above are what women ask for in men. However, these are all physical things and have zero to do with that man's character and what he stands for, right? So with this being said, um, it's nothing wrong with, if I was talking to a female relative that I cared about or whatever case may be, I can't tell you what to like or do. You like what you like. You see what I'm saying? Different women like what they like. You see what I'm saying? Um, but at best, because I can't tell you, your standards may be unrealistic to some of us or whatever case may be. But at the same time, the best I can tell you is to whatever those standards are, just be mindful that most of those physical standards, like how tall the guy is, that has nothing to do with his character or nothing to do with the principles. Remember the other video I just did that was talking about what makes a man in the eyes of other men, what makes a man honorable is his principles. So if you choose a man with a lot of money, assess whether he has good principles or not. If you want a tall dude, assess whether this dude has good principles or not. Like factor that into your choosing process. I'm not trying to tell women what to like and all this stuff like that, and I'm not the police. I ain't got no dog in the fight on who you give your to. You did. So do whatever you want to do, but at the end of the day, just be mindful. Um, um, like I say, that could be the difference between you and a life or death situation. If I had a family member that I cared about and I was having this conversation with them, I would tell them to rank the guy's character up there with where you put money and all that or whatever case may be. I know people like to live a certain type of lifestyle, and I can't begrudge a person that. Don't nobody want to live, rough and rugged if they ain't got to. The top feel a lot more better than the bottom, so I'm not knocking nobody for what they aspire to or whatever case may be. But as a woman, please factor in this guy's character. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of the crazier situations that a lot of y'all might run into, it might come from trying to get a guy who's this height, got this car, got this aesthetic or whatever. Okay, these series Jordans, whatever you into, you might be going after something like that, and I can. What if I could have a magic wand and I could produce the dude that's 6 figures, 6 foot, 6 pack, whatever you trying to get or whatever. Yeah, I can produce him. Bam, there he is or whatever. But he's a complete and utter asshole. You know what I'm saying? Them guys who those guys who fly the girls out to Dubai, you know what I'm saying, the potty girls or whatever case may be, pay them money to do stuff to them and stuff like that. Those are guys with a lot of money with very little principles. So not knocking money because everybody wants to live well and everybody wants to have a partner that they can kind of be motivated by and stuff like that by what they produce and what they everybody likes stuff like that and I'm not knocking it, but just factor in the principles and what the guy stands for, his relationships with other people, the intangible qualities of an individual. Because sometimes, these stories, these crazy news stories about women getting their head busted by their baby daddy or something like that, or whatever the case may be, loyalty is a principle. So this same loyalty that you may want in the depths of the relationship or whatever case may be, assess the loyalty before you get in a relationship. Assess the principles, the intangibles. So the loyalty that this cat shows to other stuff in his life should be just as important as how tall he is or how much he makes. Because how tall he is and how much he makes has zero to do with his character. He might be all that you're looking for, and he might bust your head after wedding night. So that's just just that's out of love, like for y'all safety as women, because I know a lot of y'all may not have certain guys in y'all life, might not tell y'all certain things or whatever, but that's just out of love. Um, okay, so money is not a testament of good character or bad character. You see what I'm saying? It's money comes and goes. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of cats that serving life in prison that probably had a lot of money when they was in the free world. You see what I'm saying? So the money comes and goes. Um, let's see here. Unforeseen things happen. What if you lose all that money, right? And have to rebuild it again from scratch. Okay, what will sustain you through that process as a man, right? The principles you stand on, your loyalty to your responsibilities and your duties, your love for the people that you've taken upon yourself as your responsibility and stuff like that in your life. Those are the things that kind of motivate you to uh, be down and then rebuild or whatever case may be. So these are the things that you want to look for in a man, alongside all the other stuff that you may feel like you want. You see what I'm saying? It's enough videos about people ragging on y'all for that. I ain't gonna rag on y'all for that. I'm gonna try to give you some sort of logical counterbalance to that as opposed to just talking noise about that. So uh, um and not saying other people talking noise about it, they just voicing their opinions. I mean, if it's in visibility, people should speak on it to draw attention to it, so we can have a conversation, so we get clarity on it. So I ain't ragging on them for even speaking on it. If it's a thing, it's a thing. So if as a man I was going into a 20-year project, right, a business partnership with one of two guys, let's say one guy had A1 character and ethics, and the other guy had substantial money, but he had poor character and terrible ethics. Now I'm a man, you know what I'm saying, and we on a mission to get some money and put something together or whatever so we can make some money, right? So I would choose to partner with the person with the good character because over a 20-year span we could probably establish something with consistent growth that would probably be sustainable. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to the guy with the poor character where we might start strong, but it's only a matter of time before something comes up and dude goes off the rails. So in the world of manhood, these are the principles and things that we put in our lives that we govern our lives by. They're governors on our lives, and they allow us to facilitate the consequences that we're gonna run into. And real mature men are really in tune with, you see, I'm saying consequences. It manifests to y'all in y'all world as a protector and a provider, but we're the protector and provider archetype because we're so consequence heavy in in our walk through life. Okay, so it's nothing wrong with wanting to do with money, but that money has no bearing on his character or whether he is a good or bad man. So the hypothetical six-figure, 6 foot six pack, as rare as that is statistically, and finding that archetype with good character would be another needle in the haystack. Even if you are seeking a financially stable guy, at least assess his principles. It will save you a headache and it might save your life. So without looking at everybody's individual situation, um, you see what I'm saying? If you were my family and I love you, you know what I'm saying, I will offer that general advice to at least have your eyes on the principles. Because I can't tell you not to like tall guys. I can't tell you not to like Jordans. I can't tell you like not to like guys with money, but just assess their principles. Typically, when we are successful, it's typically men who are successful. Okay, so this one's for the single mothers, right? I think this the part for the single. Okay, so typically men who are successful stick to their principles more than other men. So it may be a stretch if you have a bunch of kids or a sufficient amount of kids to try to find a rich man to take care of you. Right, that might be kind of unrealistic because these guys hold themselves to a higher standard. So they probably got a whole age range and criteria that they dating to, just like how you got a whole list of things. They probably got a whole criteria that they dating to. They probably date models and stuff like that. They're not trying to um um deal with all that. So what you should do now, this is the realistic advice. I ain't really heard nobody say this. But what you should do is find a man whose principles and values maybe yeah, is find a man whose principles and values, maybe how he was raised and the things that he has priority in, kind of line up with your values and your situation, and try to get with him. You see what I'm saying? He may not be the six-figure guy. You see what I'm saying? But he may be a guy who, he might have. come from a foster family, or he might have been raised by his stepdad or something like that, and that might be one of the values that he holds or whatever. So he don't mind if you got, kids from a previous relationship or something like that. He might actually be cool with that. It's guys who are cool with that, and there's guys who are not cool with that. So you can't really begrudge a person for their preference. Just like I said earlier, like how I'm not begrudging y'all for y'all preferences, which many people sometimes think are delusional. But I'm just telling you to calculate um a person's actual substance. You see what I'm saying? And from the reciprocity model, like how we were talking about earlier, you're gonna be in a better position to actually calculate that person's actual substance, principles that they stand for, and what they really about. If you're too busy trying to focus on what they got or whatever, you never really gonna understand who you got until something crazy happens or whatever the case may be. Until you cross a certain line that you didn't know was there, and then you get hit across the head with a champagne bottle or something like that. Then that's and I know y'all excuse me, y'all know I always give examples like this or whatever. Y'all know who y'all know who you tuned into. So I'm always give some kind of outlandish example, but that's an extreme example. I hope that doesn't happen to nobody or whatever the case may be. But um, you understand what I mean. You won't find out until it's too late or whatever the case may be. So um, let's see here. Yeah, the principles of a man, if it lines up with you and how you got things set up, that might work better than trying to find a guy with 6 figures. The guy who actually has the principles that line up with what you're trying to do, he might work a construction job. He might just be a hard working guy or whatever the case may be. He might come from a background that's compatible. Where he don't mind you having kids from a previous situation. So that's just food for thought or whatever the case may be. So act in reciprocity instead of survival. I think get into your partner as in what they like and are into to a reasonable degree, and they do the same. You do that for them, and then they get into you as well or whatever the case may be. Find out what makes them happy and make attempts to make your partner happy. uh, this requires trust because in essence, as the old cliche would say, you giving your heart to somebody as it were or whatever. So that requires a measure of trust. Some of us have trust issues, male and female. So I mean that's a thing, that's a leap or whatever case may be. So this is why I said in the previous video, the woman has to do something for the man to kind of see something in her to say, you know what, um, I could raise a family with her or have a child with her, or I could do business with her, or I could, whatever the case may be. He has to see something in you because there's more women on the planet than men. So okay, you got a big butt. Okay, all the chicks in the lobby got a big butt. What's your point? So you see what I'm saying? He has to see something intangible in you come out or whatever case may be. Prime example, like going back to that show with Kendra G and uh Tamar Hall, that particular show, but with that particular show or whatever case may be, yeah, I said the name wrong. Tamron Hall, excuse me. Um, with that particular show, just the etiquette of the two women and the mannerisms of the two women are different or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Um, like I said, I don't know the textbook and all the rules for femininity, but I will tell you what it translates to in my experience when I'm around extremely feminine women or whatever. Um, uh, it translates to a very, very pleasant woman to be around, and it's not even a sexual thing. It's just a very, very pleasant woman. It's like the type of energy what femininity does. Uh to masculinity. Let's say if a dude was about to get ready to was choking somebody out on the floor or something like that, and then his mama or his grandmama or his girl or whatever whisper in his ear, Frank, what you doing? Steve, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Why you doing that? And you just freeze. You see what I'm saying? I mean, guys know what I'm talking about or whatever case may be. So that the effect of the femininity of true femininity on masculinity, it has an effect. It's not loud. It's not boisterous. It's not I need this. It ain't sassy. It ain't none of that. It's is just soft and powerful. You see what I'm saying? So that's just, food for thought. So in essence, yeah, like it's like um with reciprocity, it's like it would be like giving yourself to somebody. And see, when we talking about reciprocity and all this, we talking about long-term relationships, marriage. See, I ain't talking about this transactional stuff. Like when I get into the reciprocity model, this is built to maintain long-term relationships. I'm not talking about a jump off. I'm not talking about a situationship. I'm not talking about all that crazy, all the other stuff, the one night stands and all that. All that is transactional. A lot of that falls in the range of like tricking off. You trying to spend money with the intentions of getting some sort of sexual gratification, or either you paying for sexual gratification straight up. That's what I'm talking about when I say tricking or whatever case may be. When I talk about reciprocity and all this stuff like that, these are more intangible qualities. The tricking aspect is the microwave version of this. You see what I'm saying? The reciprocity is actually, what I'm saying? It's a give and take. You actually got to get to know the person. They got to see your qualities. You see their qualities, whatever case may be. That's what I'm talking about with the reciprocity. I just want to make a difference between the two. Reciprocity, your partner inspires you because you get to know them and stuff like that, or whatever case may be. You inspired by them, they inspired by you, and y'all empower one another and go to higher heights. That's like married couples with good principles. Because if you want a man with good principles, like I'm talking about, a man with money with good principles is a great thing. A man with money with bad principles probably kick your butt. You feel me? So, the man with good principles, you gotta have good principles to match, because he gonna look for the same thing in you, and in order for it to work, yours gotta match his. You see what I'm saying? Because if he got them and you don't have them, you just gonna aggravate his life. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa. You see what I'm saying? If you a great woman, this cat just don't, however it may go, if you doing actual things or whatever case may be, and you don't get that reciprocation or whatever case may be, that's that feels a certain type of way, and that can burn a person out. So that's just, reciprocity. So just getting into the reciprocity versus the survival aspect. Okay. Okay, and so this is another thing. Okay, so this is so as it pertains to the whole idea, I know it's a big stigma on the whole idea of submission. And I say this like, okay, I'm not even gonna really frame it like, submission or whatever case may be. I frame it like this, like how we've been talking about as far as manhood is synonymous with being aware of consequences and everything like that. And you know, the protector kind of idea that people put on men, it comes from being aware of consequences, being aware of responsibilities and everything like that. So basically, like I was talking about, most good men have a code or have certain principles, whether written or unwritten, that they live by, whatever case may be. So basically, if you become a part of that man's life and he's a man that lives by a code or whatever case may be, he's going to want to integrate you at some level to the framework or his program that he's running. So it may not be freaking, what I'm saying, he may not ask you to wear a veil or nothing like that or whatever case may be. It may not be anything of that nature, but he's gonna have something that he probably asks of you, because he's in his wiring. You're his responsibility to protect and to and under certain circumstances he can't protect you. So in a lot of cases, when he would deem your behavior kind of masculine or whatever, he can't protect you if you acting like one of the guys. So you kind of gotta, like how I was talking about on the previous video where I was talking about, some guys have manners. They open the door for you, or it don't necessarily mean they're trying to holler at you, but they just wired like that or whatever case may be. Um, like you gotta be able to kind of sit back and allow him to do that. You see what I'm saying? You gotta sit back and allow him to, like, treat you a certain kind of way. As far as like, simple things or whatever case may be. So yeah. So, he's going, so if you try to go out the house, with half your ass hanging out, he's gonna say something about that, because he knows there are a series. We think we're men. We think about consequences. So it's consequences behind that. If something happens to you, or somebody says something to you, he's the guy that gotta be. He gotta come out and he gotta do something, and then that's, bond money and all kind of other scenarios of that nature. So, that so it's less about submitting and more about this guy has a program and some sort of structure that his life revolves around, that his life um is situated around, with or without you. So with you coming into his life, he's integrating you into whatever program he running, and that's why he's kind of having certain expectations for you or whatever case may be. So that's a part of it. Okay, and a large part of the punchline of a lot of this, a lot of the stuff that's said like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying, like in the previous video, I was telling the young guys, hey man, don't trick off or whatever case may be. And I know a lot of women in today's society might be like, okay, well, I want to do trick off me. I want him to pay for this, pay for that. But the thing about it is, and I know that. Okay, so what's gonna happen with that? You're not gonna organically respect dude. So I put it to you like this: it's certain things that as men we know if we do, you might like it on the front end, or you might say that you like it, or you might actually respond favorably to it at that time. Um, but as time goes on and you reflect back on it and you think about it, you're gonna be like, man, he went for that. So you're not gonna have as much respect for that man. So if the dude that tricks off on you, you might enjoy getting the gifts or whatever the case may be, but in the end, you're not gonna really respect that dude. The dude who let you walk out the house with half your ass hanging out or whatever the case may be, you might kind of be cool with the fact that he let you do what you want to do, but in the end, you're not really gonna respect that dude to the fullest, and it's gonna cause some sort of rift in the relationship at some point or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of like the when I say certain things like that or whatever, it's a reason for that. It even comes out on y'all side as well, as far as the female side or whatever the case may be. Yeah, but that's pretty much what I had, man. Just trying to give y'all some valid from a guy's perspective. Again, y'all got a monopoly on womanhood, so I'm just a lesbian. I ain't I'm not a woman. But at the end of the day, I'm just messing with y'all. But just want to give y'all some valuable information. Some maybe y'all can practically use or whatever case may be, whatever your standards are for a guy. Um, Not saying y'all have the most realistic standards all the time, or whatever case may be. I'm sure y'all hear that all the time. I ain't gotta beat a dead horse, but if you just gotta choose a guy, whatever standards that you have for that guy, pay some mind to his character, pay attention to his character, be include that in your top three as far as like what you look for with the height and with the shoes and with the whatever else y'all like or whatever case may be. Assess his character, his principles, the things that he actually stands for or whatever case may be, because if you don't or whatever, you're gonna find out the hard way um later. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I got for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for checking me out on my birthday, man. Peace and blessings. Y'all liking what y'all hear, like and subscribe, man. Appreciate it. Peace and love, man.